J Mac from Syracuse, New York. Man, came all the way out to see my Colorado Buffs.
What channel do you watch that brought you out here?
The Pregame show.
Never watched the college game till last season when Coach Prime came to Colorado. And I am in Colorado at Folsom Field. I am the Colorado Buffaloes auntie from Texas. Sweet treat.
Hey, I've been following the Pregame show. It's all about let's go Buffs.
Away from Texas. Yes, sir. Watch you every single day. Nobody lays it down like Uncle Neely and the Pregame show.
Neely, Pregame show behind the scenes for everything. And why does he get that kind of access? Why does he get that kind of access? Because trust is involved. You would never get the kind of access you desire unless there's trust and relationship. You're trying to put you up on game.
One of my favorite former players, only got to know him for over a year span, but he's one of my favorite guys. I want him to kind of talk to you guys because I don't think you guys understand the consistency of practice. And I don't think some of y'all know how to practice. And you expect the game to be different than what it is in practice, and it don't work like that in life. What you put in, you get out. You keep saying that repeatedly over and over again. How you practice is normally how you gonna play. When coach is down at the plays up, if he don't see it in practice, you think he gonna call it in the game? Ain't no way. Coach, when a defense is garbage in practice, something we're trying to run or something we're trying to see how it fits, if it don't work in practice, what you gonna call it in the game? Yes, sir. So you gotta understand that's how it is. And this gentleman happens to be on a practice squad. So if you're on a practice squad in the NFL, what is your job? So if you don't practice well, what you think gonna happen? Good. The squad is called a practice squad. Can you get hurt on the practice squad?
No, you cannot.
Can you get injured?
No, you cannot.
Can you have a bad day?
No, you cannot.
Emotional, mental day while you're on a practice squad? Coach, you was there, right? How many years? 24 years. Coach, you just left, right? Yes, practice squad. D-Lou?
Yep.
Everybody else has been there. Can you have a bad day, Phil?
No, sir.
Practice squad, you are paid to
practice.
Bring him in.
D-Mac, can you hear us?
You probably sleep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You probably sleep.
There you go.
Mackie 10. Mackie 10.
During the season, worked his butt off, never complained. You know, he didn't have the best season that he wanted to. I wish he would have came back for another year because one thing he did, he worked his butt off and he never took a day off. So, D-Mac, kind of tell him about your journey and how did you even make it into the NFL?
First and foremost, like Coach said, just the work. Honestly, just going into it with my head down, not focusing on anything else, not worried about anybody else, just focusing on self, proving myself right, and just working my ass off, honestly.
How many preseason games you had, D-Mac?
I played in 3 preseason games.
How did you practice? What did you do at practice to allow you to play in those games?
Every day I had practice like it was a game. Every day I looked at it like it was my TCU, it was my Florida, it was my Colorado State. So every day just approaching the field from warm-ups. My warm-up schedule was, when I got in line, I was sweating my ass off. Shoot, I had already taken about 15 to 20 reps from a standpoint of warming up and just getting myself in that mode for practice before we even stepped on the field. So that's how I attack my day and attack the process, honestly.
D-Mac, some of the stuff that we told you last
For sure, 100%. From a standpoint of the fundamentals, the things that you all taught us fundamentally, also from a standpoint schematically. Literally, a lot of the defenses that we ran, a lot of the installs that we had were things that we ran there, and so I deem myself pretty prepared for this opportunity.
When you went in, when you first walked in the locker room, and you seeing all these pros and how they go about the business, what is it different for you?
Say it again, Coach.
When you first walked in, you see all these pros that you've seen play on television for years. Was it different in the way you approached it?
It wasn't different in the way that I approached it, because like I said, the journey was me focusing on myself. But I did pick up a lot of jewels from, you got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, Jalen Waddle. Those are future Hall of Famers in my locker room. So those guys really, just watching those guys, Jadeveon Clowney, DJ Warner, those guys really set great examples for me.
How do they practice, D-Mac?
Oh, they practice like it's a game as well. They practice like every day is game day. Every day is game day. It's not a day that it's not game day. So
if you had to tell your former teammates, you look at them right now, everybody's hearing you, give them some advice to how to go about practice. Because we have scouts out here every single day, but yet and still, some of these guys are still going half speed, quarter of a speed, not giving it their all. Then they're going to look on draft day and be upset that the name not getting called, and they're going to wonder why.
facts. Just my advice to you all is just every day attack the day like it's your last day. Like it's your last day to play this game. This is an opportunity. This game is an opportunity of a lifetime. Kids would love to be in you all's seat. Kids would love to be in my seat. And the approach is a game-like approach so that game day is easy. So that when it comes to when you get to game day, you can let loose. You can be that free spirit. You can have that fun. So every day attack game day, attack practice as if it is a game, and the game will be easy.
Is there anything that you would have done that you had a chance to do over?
I would say build that bond the way that you all are building it. From what I'm seeing, from the outside looking in, you all are looking like brothers. You all are looking like a family. And if there was anything that I wish I could have done more of is kindling those relationships and building that bond as a brotherhood, because that's where those wins are going to stem from. And you all are doing a good job on that end.
Okay, you got Travis J and Gant in here. You want to holler at them? Want to say something to Travis J and Gant?
Hey make some plays, man.
Hey, my brother, we appreciate you. You guys got any questions? Anybody got a question for me? We good? Hey, man, I appreciate you. Keep on doing your thing. We are proud of you. Eventually, Pastor talks about you all the time. Keep up the good work and don't leave God outside the locker room, all right?
Yes, sir. Love y'all, boys.
Love you, man.
Good morning, and greetings to all the members of my Colorado Bus family. What a great day this is to grow and to learn and to do all that we have been assigned to do. I want to thank God for Coach Prime for giving the opportunity to share some things with you in this devotional message. Recently, I was reading through the Gospel of St. Mark in the 14th chapter, and I saw something that really made me think about our team and where we are and where we're trying to go. It's a very, very powerful passage that I had never really seen with these types of applications. It's really a time when Jesus calls his team together for a team meeting, for a team huddle. All 12 of his disciples, he calls them together in an upper room. I want you to imagine the offense, the defense, and the special teams are all assembled. And this is the last team meeting before a real big game. I mean, it was really going to be the biggest game of Jesus' life. What I mean by game is that he was going to fulfill his purpose by going to Calvary. And so he calls this team meeting of all the disciples in an upper room. They shared a meal together. And after dining together in the dining hall, let me contextualize, they ate the chef's food. They all gathered there for this meeting before the biggest game in the life of Jesus. And he starts to give some instructions to them. He says, now listen, guys, this is going to be such a tough season, a tough moment for you, that all of you are going to be offended because of me. It's going to be tough, and y'all going to get emotional. Some of you are going to get sensitive. It's going to be a real big deal. So he's trying to coach them up to prepare them for this big moment. And when he says that, something happens. One guy, whose name was Peter, who's a disciple, he's a guy who thought he'd be the leader or the dog or the captain of the disciples' team. And he says, you guys are going to be offended. Y'all going to be emotional. Y'all going to be in a situation. You're going to be offended of me. Something's going to happen. It's going to be stressful. And you're going to be offended of me this night. This is what Jesus said in Mark 14, around verse 27, 28. And Peter does something that some of us do. The first thing he does was he puts himself above the team. He said, no, you're not talking about me. You're talking about these others. You don't know my stats. You don't know my ratings. You can't be talking about me. You're talking about these other weaklings. In other words, he comes with such a sense of pride and arrogance that he elevates himself above the team, where he's not even receptive to the coaching that Jesus was trying to give him before the big game. I watch on the sidelines how sometimes when the coaches are giving instructions, I watch sometimes how some of you guys roll your eyes or walk away like you're too big for instruction or you made it for instruction. The moment you get to the point where you feel that you're too good to be coached, that you're above the team, you really hurt the team. So Jesus comes back and said, Peter, I know you think you're above the team. You think you're all that. But let me tell you something, brother. Tonight, before the cock crow twice, you're going to deny me thrice. And Peter starts going off now on Jesus. Man, listen, you're not talking about me. If I got to die with you, I'm going to be with you. I'm a rider. I'm going to ride a dime down like 4 flats. If I got to crash out, I'm going to crash out. I'm with you. Because what happens, he couldn't take instructions. And then all the rest of them are now trying to compete with him, and they're all saying, we're with you, Jesus. Understand this. Victory is not about what you say. Can you be coachable? Can you follow the instructions? Well, as the story would go, the soldiers came to arrest Jesus, to take him to the big game. And what got me next is Peter, verse 53 says in Mark 14, he follows from afar off. Not only does he follow from afar off, which means he's not making progress, but then he has the audacity to sit at the fire of the ops, of the opposition, and he warms himself at the fire of the same people who were trying to kill Jesus. And it made me think about how sometimes our actions on social media, sometimes our words, when you're a part of a team, you should be able to tell the difference between those who are the ops and those who are really with us. I want you to ask yourself a question. Am I with the team? Do my conversations reflect that I'm on this team? When other people come with me with naysaying and negativity, do I shut it down? Do I protect the integrity of my team? Do I not allow people to ridicule my teammates and my coaches and our program? Because some of you got to make the decision, are you with us or are you against us? Because a lot of people, they made it about themselves, put themselves above the team. And now you can't tell the difference between who's a teammate, who's a friend, and who's a foe. Are you with us? Or are you with them? That should be a clear difference. You got to make up in your mind now who you with. And then later on, one of the maidens and servants of those soldiers who were against Jesus before his big game came and said, you look like them. You look like them. You act like them. Your speech agrees. And now Peter gets emotional. Gets so emotional that he gets out of character. That he starts cussing and swearing. It made me think about how many of us allow our emotions to overtake us right on the verge of a big game, and we don't show up. And so are you going to be emotional or thoughtful as we prepare for the big game? This game is going to determine the rest of our year. What we do against KSU, I believe, is going to be the springboard for the rest of the season. But some of you are going to be emotional about playing time, about who's getting the stats, or who's getting the credits. And you're going to act out of character because you're making it about yourself and not about the team. What I love about it is that the chapter ends, it says in Peter, verse 72 of Mark 14, he thought thereon, he wept, which means he came to a point where he knew he was wrong. And he showed some remorse for his actions. They wanted to change. What really blessed me was the last thing that I see in verse 72 of Mark 14. It says, and when he thought about his actions, he wept. And then it says, period. I kept reading and I thought that him weeping was the last part, but that's not the last part. The last part is a period. Period is a punctuation mark. That means the end of the clause, end of the statement, end of the idea. And after that period starts a new chapter, Mark 15. Some of you guys have been putting commas, semicolons, and colons, but today, and hyphens. But today, with your actions, with the attitudes, with the negativity, putting yourself above the team, not being coachable, not being able to discern, are you with us, are you with the ops, crashing out over the craziest stuff, today you gotta put a period to stop it. Some of you are smoking too much, put a period. Hanging out too much, put a period. Running behind those girls, put a period. Not watching film, put a period. Not being consistent in practice, put a period. Period. End of the clause, end of the statement, end of the idea. Because guess what? On Saturday, we start a new chapter. We go out, 8:15 Mountain Time against Kansas State. A new chapter is going to be started. It's a chapter that's going to take us to heights that all of the haters and the naysayers thought was not possible. It's going to happen. But today, get your period. Remove the comma, the hyphen, the colon, the semicolon. Put a period. That whatever foolishness has been going on, it stops right now. So tomorrow can be a new day. The big game is coming. Are you going to be ready? Let's go, Bus.
Where y'all from?
We up from Miami, Florida.
All the way from Miami.
All the way from Miami.
Appreciate y'all coming, man.
Hey, man, we love what you guys are doing, man. We want to support you in every way.
Appreciate your family.
And we're recruiting at home. Everything we see at home, we bring it this way.
My man.
You gotta believe. Dude, we've been believing since day one,
That's
dog.
why I gave them to
Remember
you.
back in Jackson State? We've been believing with you in the pregame show.